What is up, everybody? Today I got a flat tire. We don't have a flat tire replacement video on this channel yet, so I'm documenting it for anyone out there who might be stuck on the side of the road. Let's get started. So first things first, you want to make sure that your car is in park and that your parking brake is pulled up as well. Also, if you're on the side of the road, make sure to park your car on the most level ground possible. Next, open your trunk, lift up the hatch in your trunk area, and your spare tire is right there. For our escapes in specific, there's a little hook that snaps off and you can put it around the headrest post there just to keep this tray up while you get to your spare tire. Then you're going to want to unscrew the center hub. What this does is it clamps the wheel down to the wheel well so it doesn't bounce around while you're driving. All right, and then that comes out. Put it off to the side. I'm going to grab my spare tire, pull it out, and then underneath my spare here is my lug wrench for the escapes. The hex is right here, and then this extends, and there's a soft pry tool if you need to get your hubcaps off if you have the wheels with the plastic hubcaps. And then here is your scissor jack. So pop that free. So we're going to locate the scissor jack to the lifting location right underneath the escape. You can see the arrow right here, and so we're going to position the scissor jack right in this pocket right here. Straight out of the back of the car, it's a little too tall, so I'm going to lower it. Once I get my jack under there, I'm going to get this aligned so that this slot here goes right around the pinch weld of the subframe and that the shoulder goes behind it. Now we're going to turn it till we have a little bit of tension and you can see it making contact with the car. I'm just going to get the rim off the ground a little bit so it's not pushing so hard on the tire. Now before the tire is lifted off the ground, we're going to take the lug wrench and we're going to break the lugs free. We're not going to take them off, but we're just going to loosen them while you have the friction of the tire contacting the ground. We're just going to do our full extension here to have leverage. I'm just going to break each lug nut free. And we're going to go in a star pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Imagine the lines drawn. So now we have the lug nuts broken free and we can raise the vehicle up and then we'll be able to get the lug nuts off much more easily when the tire's off the ground. So I usually lift it up till you can just see some light between the tire and the ground. Now to get the tire off, we're going to take the lug nuts off one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to loosen them all gradually and then start pulling them out. I'm holding the tire with this hand so that I can kind of manipulate the rim to relieve tension on these nuts. If you find that you need to use the lug wrench the entire time to get the lug nuts off, that's perfectly normal and that's fine. And then get the tire off. And you want to take your spare, line it up with the studs. So just something to note, this lug nut that I have in my hand is a Ford factory lug nut. As you can tell, the outer casing of this lug nut, which is a secondary cavity, is deformed from tools continuously cranking on it. And the more it deforms when you take it to numerous shops, it starts to widen more than 19 millimeters across the flats, and then your lug wrench will not fit on it anymore. And if you're on the side of the road in the rain or in the dark, it's a really big inconvenience to try and change out your tire. So we have these single piece lug nuts on here by DP Accessories. They have a really hard outer chrome shell. They're excellent, and if you need to get off your factory lug nuts, I would recommend using this half-step flip socket. This is a flip socket by CTA, and it has a 19.5 millimeter size to get you just that half step above 19 millimeters, because if you go to 20 millimeters, you may strip it worse. So I'll have the link for this in the description below if your lug nuts are starting to look chewed up and expanded like this one is. All right, so none of these are perfectly tight, but they're snug enough where the rim is hugged up against the hub. So I'm gonna take this lug wrench and I'm just gonna snug it. I'm not gonna over torque it or anything. Just getting them to a good place before we lower the wheel on the ground, and that's where we'll tighten it all the way, just like when we first broke them free in the beginning. So I usually try and do 2 star patterns of tightening. All right, that's good enough to lower it back down. And now we're at the part where we give our lug nuts the final torque before we get on the road. And these lug nuts only require 100 foot-pounds. So if I think about it like this, if I have about 12 inches of space along this lug wrench and I weigh 200 pounds, if I put half my body weight into just tightening this by hand, that is about 100 foot-pounds. And so I'm just going to go in this pattern and now that you have your spare tire on, just know that these were never intended for long-term use. They're typically rated for 50 miles at about 60 miles an hour. Always keep your spare tire checked for pressure, check for the quality of the sidewalls, make sure there's no cracking, make sure you have tread depth on it in case of an emergency when you need it. So we have our scissor jack back in here just for now. I'm gonna put my lug wrench right here, and I'm just gonna put this right down in there. And then you just put your damaged tire in the back and either take it to a shop to get it repaired or replace it yourself with a plug kit. So if you thought this was helpful, please give us a thumbs up, please share our video, and as always, please consider subscribing to the channel for more stuff for Ford Escape. We'll see you next time.